Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another DIY project video for you guys that I am super excited about. I actually saw this idea on Facebook and I'll insert the picture here so you guys know what I'm talking about. Just so you can kind of have a visual of kind of what we will be making today. So yeah, I saw this idea on Facebook, not on Pinterest this time, where usually I find my DIY projects and it kind of has a step-by-step direction of how to make it, so I can kind of go off of that. But I just saw this, just the picture as it is, so I kind of eyeballed and winged what we will need for this video. So I hope everything goes smoothly, but I thought it was such a cute idea and I couldn't pass it up. So if you guys are interested on how to make these little light jar decorations for your room, then please keep watching. Alrighty guys, so let's hop right into what you will need to recreate these jars. And I did make another trip to Hobby Lobby, so I got some of the stuff I already had and then some of the stuff I just picked up. So let's dive into what we will need. So first things first, depending on how many little light fixtures you want to make, you will need that many mason jars or whatever kind of jars you want. Yeah, so just 2 mason jars, and like I said in my previous DIY video, there are a ton of jars at Hobby Lobby that you can buy that are already decorated if you kind of want to jazz it up a little bit. But I think the whole purpose of kind of having like clear jars is so you can see the lights in them. So that brings us to our next thing that we will need. I'll just get my handy dandy bag out. And my boyfriend's mom actually lent me these lights. They're just like, so they're the battery like LED like little lights that go in the jars, so they just light up like this. So any kind of lights that you have like that, again, you can jazz it up, make them different colors however you want. So she lent me one, so I picked up another one at Hobby Lobby, and they were $8, just kind of pricey, I thought. So yeah, this one's called a race light, and they're just a battery operated light set. So there was different ones. I don't know what the difference was, maybe just like the hue of the light. So hopefully these are the same. I kind of eyeballed it, I should have brought it in, but they look the same to me, so let's hope that they are. So you'll need those lights, and then the next thing you will need are the little hooks. They had so many different kinds of hooks at Hobby Lobby, you guys. They had like a whole aisle of different ones you could pick out of, but I kind of liked these little vintage ones. They're like white, kind of rusty white hooks that'll go on your board so you can hang the lights on them. So just again, however many that you are making, you'll need that many hooks, obviously. And then I got this really thick, like wiry string I wanted to get it thick like that so it could hold up the light, because in the picture kind of looked like it was actually hanging off the hook, which I think obviously it's supposed to do. So I got this super thick string. Let's see if it's, again, at Hobby Lobby, this was $4, if you guys like to know prices of things. They had, again, a lot of different types of string, obviously, but I wanted to get just some thick string. It doesn't really say what this is called, but this is what it looks like if you guys are curious. And then to the kind of fun part, so then you get flowers, fake flowers, whatever kind you want. I kind of wanted to recreate the ones that were in the picture, so I just got light white flowers, and these were more expensive than I thought, you guys. These were like $7 a piece. Yeah, $7.99, which I thought was a little crazy. I didn't know fake flowers that were that expensive, but I bet if you kind of looked around a little bit or bargained for that kind of thing, you could get them a little cheaper. But yeah, so we'll end up cutting these off, obviously, because you're not going to stick the whole stem in. But yeah, I just got some white flowers that I will be putting on the top of there. And then onto some supply stuff that you will need. You will need some scissors, obviously, to cut your rope. Okay, next we will need a drill and some screws so you can screw in your little hangers onto your board. Alrighty, you guys, so next we will need some repurposed wood, and my boyfriend and I actually used old fencing that he had, and we just stained it like this darker stain which I think is an awesome way to reuse wood. It's still a little damp, so I'm gonna have to let it dry a little bit. But yeah, we just cut it and measured with the mason jar and how big that I wanted them, and then we just cut them and restained them. So I bet you can, obviously you can buy wood or whatever you want to put these mason jars on, but I thought this was kind of a cute homemade look. And then last but not least, you'll need a hot glue gun to bind everything together. Alrighty you guys, so that's it for everything that you will need. Again, if you guys wanted to add things, if you wanted to recreate them and make them your own, if you wanted to decorate them, spray paint them, whatever you want to do, that's, again, like I said in the last video, what I love about crafts is you can just make them your own. So don't hesitate to add, exclude anything that you want to do. You could get fun with the flowers, you could get fun with the string, however you want to do it, feel free. This is just kind of a basic tutorial on how to recreate these jars. So let's get started. Alrighty you guys, so let's start off by kind of unwrapping everything, and I don't think I mentioned how much these were, but these were $2.99, and like I said, there were a ton of different options at Hobby Lobby, so you can totally customize them and make them match whatever you're doing. So I'm just going to kind of cut off the wrappers on everything, and then we can go ahead and get started. And again, you guys, if you did stain your own wood, and just in general, I do recommend like laying something down just so you can kind of keep your mess contained and don't have like things going everywhere. We're not using like paint or anything, but just like your hot glue gun and stuff like that, I would recommend kind of laying something down on your work surface. Alright you guys, so we're gonna start off by drilling our hooks onto the board, and just make sure you place it exactly where you want it, and then just go ahead and screw them on. Okay, you guys, and another thing I forgot to mention is that we are going to be poking holes through the tops of the mason jars, like on the lid, so you can just poke both the wire and the flower through the top. And so you will need a punch of some sort, and you can find those at your local hardware store, or just anything you think you can get through the top of your mason jar to make a small hole. Okay you guys, so after you use the punch to make a hole in the top, it should look something like this, and it doesn't have to be super pretty, and you might have to make it a little bigger as you go, but that's just roughly what it should look like. And all we did for this step is you can just use a hammer as well and just kind of punch that in to make that indentation in the lid. Alright you guys, so now it's time to cut the flowers. So this is where you will need your scissors, obviously. Alright you guys, so once you have all the leaves off, like I said, just kind of give yourself a little extra just in case you don't want to cut too short to begin with. So I'm going to cut like right here and just give myself a little extra room. I doubt that that's the length I'm gonna stick with, but it's the length we're going with for now. And be patient with this part and be careful, because some of the stems are super thick on the fake flowers, so just be careful when you're cutting them. Alright you guys, so after you're done cutting them, they should look something like this, and then you can set those off to the side because that will kind of be our finishing touch. And then next we are going to use the wire and start decorating our mason jars. Alrighty, you guys, so what you are going to do is take some of your rope here, or string, or whatever you want to use, and kind of just make like a loop here, because this will be the part that hangs off of your little hanger. So just kind of eyeball it however much you'll need, and then just cut that much off to begin with, just kind of like a rope here. Alrighty, so one thing that we did notice with this string is that it is a little hard to hot glue together. It doesn't really like to stick. So one thing, if you guys do have some extra thinner yarn laying around, and this is only if you do end up buying this kind of yarn, I'm sure maybe other types of yarn will, or string will be able to stick better. But if you do end up having this problem, all we did was we did hot glue it, as I mentioned before, and then we tied this black string around it just to secure it and make sure that it was gonna hold up and stay. So I will demonstrate how we did that, because we did run into that issue and I don't want you guys to kind of be lost on what else to do if you run into the same problem. So just cut and hot glue the best you can, and then kind of let it dry a little bit, and then we'll re-tie some of that around it to make sure it stays. Alrighty, you guys, so this is kind of what it should look like when you're done. Again, don't worry about it looking awesome, because it's just going to be hidden anyway. So then take your mason jar. So this is where we're actually going to glue this part to the back of it. So just place it not on the rim here, but kind of a little bit below. So you have this rim here, because we're still going to need to screw the lid on. So just give yourself a little bit of room right there. Okay, you guys, so then it should end up looking something like this. So set that aside just for a minute, because now we're gonna work on our lid here. So you take your lid, both pieces of it, and make sure your hole fits your lights and your flower stem in it. So just test that first before you twist everything on. So it should look something like that. And I found that this length for the flowers worked out fine. I don't mind the stem being like shown in the bottom of it, but if you do, then this would be the time to kind of chop that off, and you could even like glue this to the top if you wanted to do that. But then you're gonna take your little light fixtures. Okay, so then what you're gonna wanna do is straighten out your wire here, and then you're gonna wanna feed your wire light down through the top of the lid like this. And you're going to want to make sure that you have both the middle part and the outer part of your lid, so then you don't have to redo it when you put the other top part of the lid on, because that's what happened last time. Alrighty, and then I gave myself a little bit of wire here, because I'm going to end up hot gluing the battery box onto the top here like this. So you're going to want to keep a little wire out just to give yourself a little room there. And then you're going to want to get out your jar and then put all your wire and whatnot and lights. And then remember to position wherever your hole will be. at the top like that, so then your flowers are towards the front rather than the back. So kind of screw it on like this, and then place your flowers in there just like that. And then what I did, just to kind of give it some character and make it look a little bit better and have a little more detail and kind of cover that in the back, even though it's not that big of a deal, is I just wrapped another layer of this string around to kind of like tie around the lid part there. Alright, you guys, again, this rope type string is not the easiest to work with. So, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it is a little harder to work with. Just a heads up if you're thinking about buying this stuff. But it's not horrible. I like how it looks. It's just kind of difficult to work with. So then we have, so it's going to look something like that. Super cute. So then we have this battery box that we have to deal with. And like I mentioned before, this one and then the other one I have are different. So the other one was a little smaller than this one. But what you're going to want to do is just place it in the back of your mason jar like this. And then you're going to just hot glue it to the lid here like that. Alright, you guys, so when you're done hot gluing it down, it should look something like this. I know it kind of sticks out on either side here like this. If you guys are totally bothered by that and you're kind of perfectionist and don't want that shown, I thought that you could repurpose some of these leaves that you cut off and you could kind of just decorate around them, hide them. It doesn't show too much in the front like this. It's not a horrible... I mean, you can't see it that bad, but if that does bother you, because you can kind of see it peeking out on the sides, then I would just get creative with it and kind of try to cover them up however you want to do that. That's up to you. But if you want to just leave it as is, which I think I might, unless it totally drives me crazy, then I'm going to do something to fix it. But yeah, that's what it should look like at this point in the process. Alrighty, you guys, so here's kind of a close-up of how they turned out. I'm super happy and super excited. Again, if you guys are a little bothered with like this, you see you can't even really see it. But if you guys are bothered with how the battery boxes kind of show on the side, then I would get creative with it and kind of add some leaves or even more flowers if you guys have leftovers. I think that would be such a good idea to kind of hide those up. And again, this string was kind of difficult to work with. Just a heads up if you are planning on recreating it. But I do really like the effect that it gives. Just kind of that country homey type decor. Yeah, so I really like that. And my lighting little light boxes are a little off in colors. You can kind of see this one's a little warmer. That's totally okay. If you kind of just mix match them on your wall like that, it almost like doesn't matter. If I can get this to focus. Yeah, it almost doesn't even really matter. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, here they are. Alrighty, you guys, so one last thing that I wanted to mention is I did actually hot glue the jar down to the piece of wood, and I did hot glue the string up here to the knob up there, just to make sure that it stayed on secured, but that it still kind of had that hanging effect. So I just wanted to mention that I did actually hot glue this onto the board, and I didn't just let it hang. But I guess you could do that. Mine was just a little top heavy, so I wanted to make sure that everything was secure and that it stayed on. Alrighty, you guys, so here is the end result of the DIY mason jar decor pieces. I'm super happy with how they turned out. I think they give that kind of country look to them. I really like that rustic kind of country homey look that they give off. Again, make them however you want. They don't have to look exactly like this. I think that's the fun part about it, is you can totally customize them to how you want. So any way that you guys decide to do it, I think this is such a cute idea, and such a good addition to your house or your room. So I'm super excited to hang them up and get these, yeah, up on my wall and get them looking cute in my room. I think they'll match my decor awesome. And my two hues of my lighting, I'll show you guys. This one's a little more warmer than this one was, if I don't drop them. So they're a little off, but that is totally okay. I think they're still super cute and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So if you guys decided to recreate these for yourself, I would love to see that and love to see how you guys recreated them. So don't forget to comment and share with me down below if you guys end up doing that. And I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I love DIY projects, so if you guys have any suggestions or recommendations as to what I should do next for my DIY series, then let me know. I would love that. So let me know what you guys thought of this DIY in these jars in the comments below, and I will leave all information plus my social media links and my blog and all that fun stuff down below. So until next time, you guys, bye.